How often have you been a victim of attack in a chess game? Well, if you play chess regularly, I guess pretty often, just like me. But being under attack is one thing and losing the game without defense or resilience is another thing. And resilience is a very important skill in chess. Finding hidden resources is part of this skill. And in the game, we are going to see Josefine Heinemann playing the white pieces. A strong German chess master was facing Lara Schulze, another strong female master from Germany. And in this recent game, the following position appeared. As you can see, white is down material, but it looks like white has the initiative. And it is white to move here. And I will not tell you if white is supposed to win this game or just have the draw. You will find out this fact in the game. This being said, let's just jump into the game. Josefine Heinemann playing the white pieces starts the game with first c4, and Lara Schulze playing the black pieces responds with e5, knight c3, knight f6, knight f3, knight to c6, g3. Now black has a couple of choices, but she decides to go for d5. So entering an accelerated dragon reversed, white is a tempo up compared to the accelerated dragon, and this position is theory. Bishop to g2, knight to b6, a very common move, white castles, bishop to e7, and now white plays a rather not so popular move, and b3, making the b2 square ready for the bishop. Usually in this position d3 is played. Another option would be a move like a3. However, as mentioned, b3 was played, black castled, white put the bishop on b2, and now black has several plans. One, for example, would be bishop to e6, rook to c1, and now black can play a move which I usually dislike, and this is f6, because now f6 is defending e5 and this bishop is going to have a hard time. But let's go back. In the game, Lara Schulze decided to play rook to e8, rook c1, still played, a very standard move, bishop to f8. And now you see the rook is defending the e5 pawn, while the bishop on f8 isn't much weaker than on e7. White plays e4, centralizing the knight. And now black tried a couple of moves here. For example, in the game, Ray Robson against Levon Aronian, Aronian tried e5, which was punished with rook takes c6, an exchange sacrifice. And now it is white who is fighting for an advantage, because after knight takes e5, bishop e7, e3, it is clearly white who has the initiative. And after f6, which is pretty much forced, white can just grab the c6 pawn, because after bishop takes c6, black would give up material, because knight to f6 follows, g takes f6, and bishop takes c6, attacking both rooks. Very unpleasant position for black. So let's go back. Another move here, which is actually good, would be f6. Another good move, f5. However, after knight to c3, black goes usually e4, and now black has a space advantage, but white is going to play d3 sooner or later, and then black must watch out, because the position might become very dynamic. But let's go back to the game. In the game, a bad move was played, and actually this move has been played several times, even by strong grandmasters. Knight to d4. And this move is punished by knight takes d4, so you just take this knight out, then follows e takes d4, and now comes the very simple and strong e3 move. The bishop is ready to become strong, and if black chose to take on e3, then white recaptures with the f-pawn. White has two central pawns, black has none. White has the semi-open f-file, while black has no control here, and the strong diagonal, and it is clearly white who is fighting for a win already. So let's go back. In the game another move was played, d3. However, this doesn't save black. The position was already too bad. White had a big advantage, and Josephine Heinemann found a very nice move here. Well, the entire plan looks easy and is very beautiful. It's playing f4, then comes c6, and now f5. This pawn wants to go to the f6 square, maybe, and this might be a big issue for black. So knight to d7 was played, and now if f6 was played, then g6, so it might be too early. Therefore, Josephine Heinemann continues with queen to h5, bringing more pieces towards the opponent's king, and it already looks very dangerous. Now, black decided to play f6, and white follows up with the strongest move again, g4, knight to e5, and black now has to meet somehow the very strong g5 move. Again, an excellent move by white. Bishop to d7, and now, of course, white just wants to weaken the f-pawn. G takes f6, g takes f6, and it is clear that black has too many weaknesses. And a nice way, or a nice plan to play, would be pushing the f6 pawn, and this could be achieved by attacking it a second time, forcing black to defend it, and then play rook c5 with the idea that after queen e7 the rook or the exchange can be sacrificed for the e5 knight, and after f takes e5 there is the very strong f6 move, and black is in big trouble. Maintaining this pin wouldn't yield anything because there is the very strong queen to g5, and now white is already threatening checkmate. And if black decided to play another move like queen to f7, then simply knight to g5, and the position looks very bad because this move is actually punished by bishop to e4 or f7. Both moves here are already completely winning for white. So you see that it is white who has a few winning chances while black is utterly lost. In the game, white played another nice move, and this is rook to f4, just bringing another piece into the attack. Now followed bishop to g7 and rook to c5, getting ready for the exchange sacrifice on e5. b6 was played, of course. White needs no invitation, but still is invited to move the rook, so she sacrifices it on e5 for the knight. F takes e5, and now white could win the game with rook to g4, queen to e7, then rook g3, and the idea is that here the white side is preparing the f6 move, and black can't do much because after a move like bishop takes f5 there's knight to d6 with a very nice fork, forking rook, queen, and the bishop. And now the queen has a hard time. Let's say queen to e6, then simply knight takes f5, queen takes f5, and again bishop e4, increasing the pressure against h7, and this position is completely lost for black, of course. But in the game a strange mistake happened, and this is basically a two-move tactic. So rook to h4, and here white unfortunately overlooked the very strong bishop takes f5, and the bishop now is guarding the h7 pawn, and white is in big trouble. And white manages to find a good defense here. Knight to g5, bishop to g6, and suddenly it's not so easy for black to win this because queen g4 is putting pressure along this file. And now it's very amazing, but actually black has only one move to retain the advantage, and this is the move h6. And to be honest, I only found it with the engine, so I take no credits for it. Very difficult to find. Then would follow knight to f3, and the queen can come either to d6 or f6, and the position is very dynamic, so both sides have to watch out for threats. But it's clear that black wouldn't enjoy such a position, neither would white. Very strange position actually. Instead, queen to f6 was played in the game, and now Josefine Heinemann found a sequence of brilliant moves. Queen to c4 doesn't look very entertaining, king h8, and now comes a brilliancy. Rook takes h7 check. The bishop has to take, and a draw was made by repetition here after knight f7 check, king g8, and the pieces just go back. The amazing thing here is that actually the engine wants to play rook to e6 after knight takes e6, just king h8, and still the position is around equal here. And it's very understandable that black didn't want to continue the game after just surviving this very strong attack. A very fascinating game. It was almost a textbook attacking game by the white player, but unfortunately she blundered with rook h4, and black defended pretty well. If you enjoyed this game, feel free to hit the like button. If you want to see more of such videos, feel free to follow me or subscribe me. And if you liked this game, you will for sure like the next one. See you in the next video.